Hello and welcome. You're joining us here on a special broadcaster on India Today. I'm joining you live from Florida in America. This is the Kennedy Space Center, the very location where you're going to be seeing the launch taking place of the AX-4 space mission. I'm Akshita Nandagopal, and let's begin with the latest update that's coming in on this story. Let's focus first on the fact that you've got the launch expected at 8 a.m. on Wednesday. That's, as of now, the expected time, but it's all dependent on the weather. Right now, you can see it's sunny, but don't be fooled by that. There is a forecast of rainfall, which is what's got the SpaceX authorities right now a little unsure about whether launch will happen in the next few hours or not. Now, remember that besides weather, there were a couple of complications. We're talking about a liquid oxygen leak as well as other malfunctions. But that wasn't the reason for the delay. All of that has been plugged. Technically, we're ready to go. It's just a question of the weather gods holding up and not playing spoil sport. We'll be getting you all the updates here and the communication that comes in from the authorities over the next 30 minutes.
Weather uncertainties to technical snags. Anticipation over historic Axiom 4 mission launch. SpaceX navigating meteorological challenges. India Today tracks the latest from ground zero. India eyes return to space after 41 years. Shubanshu Shukla set to re-script history. We take you straight to the launch site. Live from the Kennedy Space Center. Space hero Shubanshu. That is our top focus on India Today.
We're inside the Kennedy Space Center here in Florida of America. Where I'm standing is essentially the tourist area where people are allowed at a certain fee. And what you'll see in acres and acres of the Kennedy Space Center is these kind of monuments that you see behind me, essentially tracing down the journey of America in space. Essentially mankind's journey in space as well. So I'm going to show you around some of the highlights and landmarks that have been put on display here at the Kennedy Space Center. So there are an array of rockets here. The one that you see with the 19 sign, that is the Delta rocket that helped ensuring essentially that television reaches all of us. It launched that satellite into space. The one that you see here close by, and I'm going to show you, take it a little afar to show you what exactly this looks like. This is Juno 1, which was at a time of great competition with Russia, with the Soviet Union, that US launched this into space. And you've got a whole lot of rockets here, but I think the one that I want to show you, which I'm most excited by, is this one right here. Just look at that giant, that mammoth one. This is Apollo 1, which was supposed to be the first manned mission for America. Didn't happen, of course. It was a failed mission, but there were many, many lessons that were learned from here. For us in India at ISRO also, of course, we've been looking to learn from each of these missions, each of these rockets that were put in space. But just look at the wide array here, and that tells you about America's deep history in space. Each of these rockets, of course, tell a story of mankind's leap in research and in exploring space. Each of it has helped us with so many technological leaps as well. And for India, of course, we'll be hoping that very soon we'll also have an array of such rockets, so much of story to talk about. The AX-4 mission is one step also towards making that dream a reality. This is Akshita Nandagopal reporting from the Kennedy Space Center in Florida for India Today.
In a historic liftoff for commercial space exploration, the Axiom 4 mission is pushing boundaries, not just in space technology, but in who gets to fly. The Axiom 4 crew comprises 4 private astronauts, each representing a leap in space democratization. This time, it is not just professional astronauts or billionaires, but a mix of trained specialists and pioneers from multiple countries. The International Human Spaceflight mission is helmed by veteran NASA astronaut Peggy Whitson and will launch from Florida's Kennedy Space Center. It will carry India's Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla along with European mission specialists Slavoš Višňášký and Tibor Kapu from Hungary for a 14-day expedition to the International Space Station. After taking off at 5:30 p.m. on 11th June, the mission will reach and dock at the International Space Station in the lower Earth orbit. The mission is expected to conduct at least 60 different space research experiments from various global institutions. The Indian Space Research Organization ISRO is spending 550 crore rupees in its collaboration with Axiom Space. 8 different research experiments by India are being carried out by Shukla in his time on the International Space Station, from muscle regeneration to cyanobacteria growth. The Axiom 4 mission will be flying on SpaceX's Dragon spacecraft, with Shukla being the first Indian to ever pilot a Dragon. Having been used in 51 different space missions, Dragon is the first ever privately made spacecraft capable of carrying humans to and from the International Space Station. Bureau Report, India Today.
So as we get set for that space mission and keep our fingers crossed that it's happening in the next 24 hours, let's talk about what makes it so historic. The fact that you'll have an Indian in space for the second time in 4 decades, and also the first Indian ever to go to the International Space Station. Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla is the chosen one. Remember, he's part of the Gaganyaan mission. That's when his name first came to the fore. But there are 4 astronauts part of ISRO's Gaganyaan mission. Why was Group Captain Shukla the chosen one among all of the others? Our next report tells you why.
Not all heroes wear capes. Some wear a spacesuit and carry a nation's pride into orbit. After 40 years, an Indian is all set for a space sojourn. And the chosen one? Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla, who's part of the AX-4 mission. Shukla became a household name in February 2024 when Prime Minister Modi formally introduced us to the Gaganyaan astronauts.
40 वर्ष के बाद कोई भारतीय अंतरिक्ष में जाने वाला है, लेकिन इस बार टाइम भी हमारा है, काउंटडाउन भी हमारा है और रॉकेट भी हमारा है.
Months later, when the ISRO-NASA tie-up led to the AX-4 mission seat for an Indian astronaut, Shukla was the chosen one. For him, it's a dream come true, and his journey is one that will inspire billions.
I'm excited about all the aspects of this mission, starting with the first time that we will be in a position to observe the Earth from a vantage point that only a handful of people on this planet have ever experienced. And after that, the experience of floating in microgravity and, everyday activities that seem so simple for us, like walking, sleeping, eating, or, drinking water, they all become very different once you are up in space. So I'm really looking forward to having that experience in space.
Shukla was inducted in the IAF in June 2006, and as a seasoned pilot, he has over 2,000 hours of flying experience. A native of Lucknow, Shukla has gone from an IAF officer to now astronaut. Captain Shuks, as he's fondly called, has spoken repeatedly of how Rakesh Sharma has also been a huge source of inspiration for him.
Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, who was the first Indian astronaut, he has been like a mentor to me at every step in this journey. He has always been there to guide me, how to navigate this entire journey right from the time of selection till this mission. He is also from the Indian Air Force, a test pilot like I am, so we share a lot of common things between us.
Group Captain Shukla's journey to space is one every Indian will watch with pride and awe as he takes flight with the prayers of 1 billion Indians. He carries our hopes beyond the sky. Captain Shukla, a pioneer charting India's path through the universe. Bureau Report, India Today.
14 days in space, and these 14 days at the International Space Station is going to be extremely crucial, like I said earlier, for future space missions as well. Why is that? Well, a couple of reasons, but most importantly, the spotlight is going to be on about 60 research experiments that will be conducted in the course of those 14 days. There are hand-picked experiments that ISRO also is hoping to learn from, which Captain Shukla will be conducting. These are largely to do with agriculture, to see whether seeds, multivariety seeds, actually germinate in space. So Captain Shukla is taking some seeds with him which have been picked by ISRO. Besides that, also a lot of focus on what space and microgravity does really to the human body. That's key to learnings for the Gaganyaan mission. Details in our next story.
"14 days in space for an all-important space mission." Captain Subhanshu Shukla is one of the 4 astronauts part of the AX4 space mission, and 14 days will be spent on board the International Space Station. And in those 2 weeks, the team will conduct many crucial science experiments. Besides Shukla, who's the pilot of the mission, the commander Peggy Whitson and mission specialists Višňášký and Tibor Kapu are part of this mission, and they have several objectives to achieve with experiments that could greatly help in future space missions and other astronauts. Several big takeaways will emerge from this mission as research studies on supporting astronauts with insulin-dependent diabetes will be taking place. There will also be an examination of microgravity's impact on the brain and cognitive risks. Physiological and psychological data will be collected from astronauts to understand how humans adapt to space. There will also be studies on impact of space flights on joints and blood flow, investigating cancer growth in space and the effects on blood stem cells during space flight. One of the most interesting experiences involves tardigrades or water bears, micro-animals that can survive harsh space experiments. These tests could offer insights into the possibility of life beyond Earth. Captain Shukla, on behalf of ISRO, will also be conducting several experiments like investigating the physical and cognitive impact of computer screens in microgravity, skeletal muscle dysfunction in microgravity, and there will also be seed varieties that will be taken to space as ISRO wants to look into the impact of spaceflight on germination and growth of crop seeds, and examining spaceflight impacts on 6 crop seed varieties. The AX4 mission will provide great insights for India's Gaganyaan mission, and as is evident in ISRO's research list, there's a great deal of focus on agriculture in space. Bureau Report, India Today.
So we've told you all about this particular mission, the AX4 mission. Let me take you back in time. 4 decades ago, when you had Rakesh Sharma scripting history as the first ever Indian to go to space. There are quite a few similarities between then and now between Rakesh Sharma and Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla. He's of course learnt so much from Rakesh Sharma as well. Take a look at our next report as we show you what happened way back then 40 years ago that could just be repeated now.
"40 years after this moment, an Indian is headed to space." Rakesh Sharma scripted history in 1984 as he became the first Indian to head to space. Wing Commander Sharma was on board Soviet Union's Soyuz T-11 and was in space for 7 days. Rakesh Sharma was stationed on board Soviet Union's Salyut 7 orbital station. Remember this iconic moment when then Prime Minister Indira Gandhi spoke to Sharma while he was in space?
ऊपर से भारत कैसा दिखता है आपको?
जी मैं बगैर किसी झिझक के कह सकता हूँ कि सारे जहां से अच्छा।
After 40 years, Captain Shukla will be scripting a whole lot of historic firsts. While Sharma spent 7 days in space, Shukla is poised to spend 2 to 3 weeks in space. Another first, Group Captain Shukla will be stationed at the International Space Station, the first Indian to do so.
Wing Commander Rakesh Sharma, who was the first Indian astronaut, he has been like a mentor to me at every step in this journey. He has always been there to guide me, how to navigate this entire journey right from the time of selection till this mission. He is also from the Indian Air Force, a test pilot like I am, so we share a lot of common things between us. And I think he understands very well the kind of challenges, the kind of preparation that we need for executing this mission. So it was great to have him on my side while I was navigating this journey.
After Rakesh Sharma, Captain Subhanshu Shukla is all set to script history for India. And thereafter, hopefully, we'll see many more Indians headed to space as part of ISRO's Gaganyaan mission. Bureau Report, India Today.
Shubanshu Shukla is all set to soar to space with the hopes, the dreams of billions of Indians. He's very, very excited. But what a journey, an inspirational journey truly for Captain Shukla as well. Why do I say that? Here's someone who is an IAF test pilot from Lucknow, who's now in Florida, set to carry on his shoulders the dreams of billions of Indians. Here's his journey.
Captain Shuks, India's first captain to ISS, reads a poster outside a modest home in Lucknow. This is the house where dreams defied gravity, where Group Captain Subhanshu Shukla once studied, silently filled his NDA form, and disappeared during his sister's wedding to write the exam that would script his destiny.
The sister marriage was in the house, and no one knows about, not even 1% about this kid. This exam is tomorrow and he's going to do that. Next day morning when the Vidai function was going on, each and everyone is screaming, crying. My father was furious at that time. Where is he? And after some time he was coming back, rushing on the bicycle.
Born and brought up in Lucknow, Shukla is set to become India's second astronaut to go into space. His mother still sees him as the same curious, innocent boy.
बहुत बड़ा मूवमेंट है हमारे लिए तो जैसे बचपन में था वैसे आज हमारे लिए तो बच्चा ही है अभी भी कोई स्पेशल नहीं है लेकिन ये है कि हाँ अब वो चूंकि इतना अच्छा काम कर रहा है तो इसलिए प्राउड मूवमेंट तो है ही हमारे लिए अच्छा खुश रहो जहाँ कहीं रहो अपनी ऊंचाइयों जिन ऊंचाइयों पे गए हो उसको जो है अच्छे से निभाओ और अच्छे से जल्दी अपना मिशन पूरा करके आओ हम लोगों को मिलो आके.
His father, Shambhu Shukla, shares the moment of immense pride when Prime Minister Narendra Modi presented his son with the coveted astronaut wings.
कैप्टन इनकी तो बात हुई थी, शुभांशु की बात हुई थी और हम लोग भी सामने थे, बात हुई थी, बहुत अच्छा. अब उन्होंने तो बधाई दी थी, हम लोगों को भी बहुत वो बकअप किया था कि आपके बच्चे जो हैं बहुत ही हीरा हैं, तो बड़ा अच्छा लगा था.
In this particular narrow lane, there is a house of Indian astronaut. This is the lane, a typical mohalla of Lucknow. And from this space, from this area, a man can achieve success. And the height of a success is not limited to the sky because it has touched the space now.
From this very street in Lucknow to the stars, Subhanshu Shukla's journey will inspire more youngsters to dream big. With Samarth Srivastav, Bureau Report, India Today.
So many important and rather fun tidbits that we're learning about the AX4 space mission. And one that you can watch out for is the food that Captain Shukla eats. You very often hear about how the food on board the International Space Station could get a little mundane, a little boring. That's not going to be the case this time, because for Captain Shukla, he'll get a bit of taste of home when he goes to space as well. A lot of Indian delicacies, handpicked, will be making its way on board the AX4 space mission, all the way to the International Space Station.
A bit of desi swad in space. As billions await Captain Subhanshu Shukla's space sojourn, he gets to take a little bit of home with him. What are we talking about? Well, the astronauts on board the International Space Station will get some yummy Indian food during their 2-week stay. From moong halwa to amras, a bunch of Indian delicacies have been handpicked for the AK-4 astronauts. While NASA's protocol for astronaut foods is to be followed strictly in the AK-4 mission, the Indian Space Research Organization officials said a few Indian food items would be available for Group Captain Shukla.
I am carrying a few delicacies from India. You know, we have a very rich culinary culture. And so a few of the items that I'm carrying are mango nectar. I'm also carrying moong dal halwa and carrot halwa. Some of them are my favorites, and I am so happy to be able to carry them, share it with my colleagues and also the astronauts who are on the station right now.
A video emerged from months ago when Captain Shukla and the other 3 crew members underwent a taste test to choose the food of their choice.
Today was a food tasting session. So as you see, we have a long list of food items that we had to try and, give scores, whether we like it, not like it. And based on the feedback that we give today, the food items would be packed and they will be sent to the station for us to consume during our mission.
For Captain Shuks, as his crewmates fondly call him, he'll get some ghar ka khana in space, and the menu variety has been carefully curated to also ensure that the Gaganyaan mission will also see more Indian flavors in the spotlight. Bureau Report, India Today.
That's all we have time for on this broadcast. Thanks very much for tuning in. And as always here on India Today, we'll be getting you all the updates on the AX4 space mission. I'm Akshita Nandagopal signing off for the moment, but we'll be getting you all the updates from here, the Kennedy Space Center, in the hours going forward. Thanks for tuning in.